Good evening, America. I'm Jason, and you're watching Jason Goes Political. For the sake of continuity, all financial gifts that are $19 or less, I will read at the end of the show. Any of the others, $20 or higher, I will read as soon as I come across them. You may financially gift on Entropy, which will be up and running in just a minute. You may also financially gift over there on Odyssey. Both Entropy and Odyssey are a cost of 15% to you. You may also financially gift on Cash App, which of course is free to use, no charge to you or me. We're going to jump right into the story, the featured story of today, which is I've kind of named Christian Nationalism, Successor to MAGA Movement or not. Can everybody hear me okay? By the way, a little bit of feedback on that would be great. If the right mic is chosen. We had a couple of technical issues right here at the beginning, so it'll be good to get a little bit of feedback. We are in, of course, our palatial studio where all things grandiose take place, and we can thank one Forno for this amazing place. He came in here with timber and televisions. It's totally amazing. No White Guilt Clips. Great to see you, brother. He says, I can hear you. Ardent Party says, sounds a little hot. That's what they always say about me, friend. But let me take a look and see if we're having any issue that, I don't know. Let me know if that makes it any better. But we're going to jump over to this story right away. We'll be together for about an hour today, 7 p.m. Eastern time to 8 p.m. for all of those who want to go watch Fox News after we wrap up here. Roger Stone and Michael Flynn under fire over rallies distorting Christianity. So this is anti-whites writing this, and this is over at The Guardian, and they they are upset because you've seen from this MAGA movement, from this Trump movement, there has been sort of these wandering souls that have been wandering around. They've been wondering what to do now. Is Trump going to make a comeback? Will it matter? Will they just undermine him again? Will they just put this senescent, backward, imbecile Joe back in the seat to just dodder around as an old, befuddled fossil that doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground? Maybe. So there have been these endeavors that is sort of outgrowths of the MAGA movement ever since Trump lost his bid for the presidency. And ultimately, you can say, well, he actually won or whatever, but the bottom line is Joe's in the White House, right? He's running the show, right? Roger Stone and Michael Flynn under fire over rallies that are distorting Christianity. One of these new growths out of this MAGA is this Christian nationalism. And currently there is this fight for the soul of Christian nationalism and what it can really mean in the United States. Who's going to get to define it? Who's going to get to lead it? And of course, the moneyed people have shown up. And so that's not a good sign for those who want something other than what the moneyed people want. But I will point out that Christianity has already lost to anti-whiteism. So here we go. Prominent Christian leaders accuse Trump allies of spreading misinformation about the 2020 election and COVID while distorting Christian teachings at Reawaken America events. Has anybody attended any of those who is listening right now? Roger Stone with Pastor Greg Locke and his wife. And let's see, they're featured prominently at a Reawaken America rallies in several states. This is not the first time that there has been this go back to Christianity effort in politics in the United States. It's happened numerous times. And every single time it sort of gets defined by so many different people, so many different ways that it ends up in these little eddies and is never seen again. So we'll see if this time is different. A growing number of prominent Christian leaders are sounding alarms. So this is what Christian leaders are saying. Watch out for these people. They are nationalists. And that's not Christianity, according to these Christian leaders, is all about destroying borders. It's all about destroying nation states, according to these Christian leaders. I think we'll find out before. I've never read the article. I haven't read the article yet, but I think we'll find out by the end that they are Judeo-Christian leaders. Somehow they always get the microphone. They're sounding the alarms about threats to democracy posed by Reawaken America rallies where Donald Trump loyalists Michael Flynn and Roger Stone and right-wing pastors have spread misinformation about the 2020 elections and the COVID-19 vaccines and distorted Christian teachings. Oh, I see. So the anti-whites get to decide what Christianity is. That's essentially the Democrats who call themselves, or anti-whites who call themselves Democrats, they get to decide what Christianity is. Thank God that they are there to define it for us. The falsehoods pushed at reawakening, so just that's stated as a fact. No argument going to be made. Gatherings have prompted some Christian leaders to warn that America's political and spiritual health is threatened by a toxic mix. It's always toxic when it comes to the anti-white. Sometimes things are legitimately toxic, like the bathrooms of anti-white people. Every Democrat out there, totally toxic. Toxic mix of Christian nationalism, they say, lies about Trump's loss to Joey Biden, and ahistorical views of the nation's founding principle of separation of church and state. Well, isn't that interesting? What's going on over here? We have more technical snafus today than can be expected. Okay, so presumably the author here and the other anti-whites behind this work, they hold the antithetical positions to the ones advanced by these right wing. So those are not extreme anti-white pastors. Those are not extreme Democrat, radical country masochism, self-defiling, drug-using, imbecilic bastard pastors. Several well-known Christian leaders, including the president of Christian Social, well-known Christian leaders, so no padding there. Christian Social Justice Group, Sojourners, and the executive director of a major Baptist group, Baptist folks. I mean, the Baptists, the religion was lost with the Baptists many years ago. The hierarchy of the religion, not the good people that are worshipers, have called on American churches to speak out against the messages prompted at Reawaken America rallies that have been held in Oklahoma, Arizona, Texas, California, South Carolina, and other states. Other tour rallies, some of which have been held in religious spaces. What is that, like somehow sacrilegious for them to give an opinion about Christianity and about this country that doesn't comport with Democrat anti-white doctrine? Is that the issue? Other tour rallies, some have been held in religious spaces, are slated for New York and Virginia this summer, and some local Christian leaders are being encouraged to publicly voice concerns. You mean paid off by Democrats? Publicly voice concerns. They're being encouraged with a lot of greenbacks about the dangerous rhetoric and messages they convey. So get out there, talk about how awful it is that anybody would give an interpretation of the country and of the Christian religion that is not anti-white. And if you do, then you're going to get a bunch of money in your pocket. And you also have a bunch of the media, which is just another arm of the Democrat Party, out there to publicize and give you softball questions and tell their audiences how brilliant and brave you are for getting out there with the establishment. With the establishment. Quote, the Reawaken Tour is peddling dangerous lies about both the election and the pandemic, close quote. Adam Russell Taylor, the president of Sojourners, told The Guardian, quote, Jesus taught us that, and he knows because he hangs out with Jesus, at least the one from Mexico. Jesus taught us that the truth will set us free. And these lies hold people captive to these dangerous falsehoods. They also exacerbate the toxic, there it is again, polarization we're seeing. Oh no, what you're doing, Democrat, is not toxic, is not increasing polarization. The Democrats would not exist. They would actually cease to exist if they didn't have the ability to polarize. If that somehow were taken from them, they would cease to be. That is all the Democrat Party is. It's all about white race is evil. Everything they've done is awful. And therefore we have to destroy it. And then we'll give all the goodies of it to everybody else. We're seeing in both the church and the wider society. Well, guess what? They'll be cracking down. The IRS will be showing up and the other government agencies will be showing up on all those churches that are, because there's never a problem when black churches are hardcore Democrat and all they do from the pulpit is talk about politics, nothing happens to them. But if a white pastor who cares about the country, who's not anti-white, decides that he's going to imply that people should do their civic duty and participate, so that this once Christian country now in the gutter and headed down the toilet, that maybe it could be steered back into a healthy direction. The IRS shows up immediately to bring everything down. Taylor added he was deeply concerned about, quote, a conflation between Christianity and a nationalistic form of patriotism, close quote. And that's what I was talking about earlier. This new, like, not new, it's new again. It's new again, this Christian nationalism. At the, quote, tour rallies, which are promoting a more overt form of Christian nationalism. Again, it's new again. It has been here before, and it has failed before. And I imagine that we're probably headed in roughly the same direction again. And it is a death by 1,000 or 10,000 definitions of what it really is. And and what Christianity really means and who gets to decide, that sort of thing. Amanda Tyler, the executive director of the Baptist Joint Committee for Religious Liberty, which has organized Christians against Christian nationalism. Can you imagine? What a bitch. How high in the Democrat hierarchy is Amanda? I mean, where is she getting, where's her bread being buttered? Probably in some very shady pizza joint. She said, quote, Christian nationalism is a threat to the church because those peddling it warp this ideology in biblical language and imagery. Christian nationalism is wrong as a matter of Christian ethics. She lies. The Bible is not confined to a nation, much less a party or list of policy positions. Democrats have no problem using the Bible when it suits their objectives, when they can manipulate you sophistically to believe what they're saying, to believe that Jesus himself had, just before they walked out on stage, given his blessing. And that's a big blessing when it comes directly from Jesus. But then whenever anybody else points to the Bible, especially a country founded almost entirely by people who were ardent Christians, all of whom were white, especially that country, they have a lot of problem with that. They say, no, you can't do that. You can't bring the Bible. You can't bring those. They used to allow prayer in the Capitol. Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You're not allowed to bring it in. She added, quote, the Reawaken America tour is a gross distortion of Christianity, and it's up to Christian leaders in the areas the tour visits to speak out against this ideology. Well, let's see what you got. It'll be like one of these Democrat anti-white pastors surrounded by like 50 mainstream news cameras. The Reawaken tour's pro-Trump political message mixed with Christian nationalism was on display at a 2-day gathering in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina in May that drew Flynn, Stone, Eric Trump, and the right-wing Pastor Mark Burns, who is running for a House seat in the state. Stone revved up the crowd with at times bizarre conspiratorial claims. Democrats are not wont for that, are they? I mean, just like there was this gigantic lie about all of this underhanded dealings with Russia, and kind of all got exposed and now being all swept under the rug, and anti-whites are just like, cut their tongues out of all those people's mouths so nobody can know what they're saying. Now we win. Well, that's all right, Democrats, if you want to live that way. But eventually, all those pushovers that you keep defeating, they'll be replaced by people far more unscrupulous and cutthroat than you are, and you'll be finished. The portal Stone told a rapt crowd. Okay, I got to step back a paragraph. Stone revved up the crowd with bizarre conspiratorial claims. Quote, there is a satanic portal over the White House. Okay, I agree. That is a bizarre conspiratorial claim. Sorry. You can see day and night. Did he really say this? Is this a lie? Did he say this? There is a satanic portal above the White House. You can see day and night. It exists. It is real, and it must be closed, and it will be closed by prayer, he said. No, that's a quote they say here. Does anybody know if he really said that? The portal, Stone told a rapt crowd, first appeared after Joe Biden became president, quote, became president, and it will be closed before he leaves, close quote. Stone, a longtime Trump confidant, was convicted on, well, come on, you're trying to make him look bad. That makes him look bad enough. Was convicted on 3 counts, including obstruction during the Russia meddling investigations. But he was pardoned in late 2020 by Trump, who had earlier commuted his sentence. All right. Well, I mean, I drive by the White House every now and again, and I have failed to see the portal. But maybe you have to have some kind of special vision to be able to see the portal to hell above the White House. Somebody should get a photograph so that I could see it too. Burns, an ardent Trump backer, drew applause at the rally with blistering attack on the LGBTQ community, top congressional Democrats, and even the GOP Senator Lindsey Graham, a strong Trump ally. Well, I'm no fan of Graham's either. Lindsey, no fan of Lindsey's either. So we need Andrew Jacksons. The Republican Party needs Andrew Jacksons. We don't need any more Lindseys. They can go and trot about the fields with lambs or something. Lindsey the lamb. We need a very different type of politician in there going to metaphorical war against the Democrats, of course. Known for his penchant for mixing religious messages with politics, Burns told, please don't tell me he's going to talk about a portal of hell over the White House. Come on. Burns told another Reawaken meeting in Ohio in February that God would, quote, raise up armies, close quote, to help conservatives, quote, shut down Democrat-run America. I got to say something right here. This is the exact same sort of thing that instills a desire to do nothing, the idea to do nothing. God's not going to raise up anybody. That's not how Christianity, that's not how any God works. You are going to have to get out there and make it happen. And then if you get close, God will say, okay, I'll give you a little nudge over the finish line. You cannot be a spoiled child and say you're going to pray and everything and you're going to win because you have prayed. That's not how God works. Look at history. So that's a dangerous argument. That's a sort of dangerous sloganeering. Are you ready? Quote, are you ready to fight with me? Shout, yeah, close quote. Burns loudly exhorted the crowd. Quote, are you ready to stand with me? Shout, yeah, close quote. Well, yeah, if you're going to be doing things, then yeah, you give a prayer to your activities, to bolster your ingenuity, your creativity, your stamina, your tenacity. You don't pray, God, please do this for us. Please raise up an army to do this while I sit on my ass. That's not the way it works. Andrew Jackson. Just keep saying that, folks. That's what we need. Would Andrew Jackson say, how many duels did Andrew Jackson get into? Would he say, we're just going to pray? We're just going to pray and make sure, no. That's what America needs. But retired Lieutenant General Flynn, a staunch ally of Trump's, who told the right-wing network Newsmax, oh God, can't these people just be mature whatsoever? Everything has to be anti-white. They're not anti-white enough, and so therefore we will slander them with right-wing or white supremacist, and we'll be getting to that in a moment. The right-wing Newsmax in December 2020 that Trump should deploy the military to, quote, return the election in swing states Biden won in the tour's most highly promoted draw. Yeah, Biden running his campaign from his basement actually did get more black votes than Barack Obama in areas that he needed to get more black votes to win. That makes perfect sense to me. If I have stated that incorrectly as a fact, then I apologize, and CNN can come in or whoever else can come in and clear things up for you. But I believe that Biden had the most votes in history and even more non-white votes than Barack Obama where it was needed. So, shout yeah. At a Reawaken event in Texas in November, for instance, Flynn sparked strong criticism by claiming that America should have just one religion. Well, America is a Western country. Western civilization is inside of Western kind, white people. It's nowhere else. Nobody else has gone out and built Western civilization. And their civilizations are not worse or better than Western civilization. It's just that you need Western kind to make Western civilization. And the white people that came here and built Western civilization, they were Christians, almost all of them. This was a Christian country. And what is Christianity if not an ideology or religion that is informed by the biospirit, the instincts of Western kind? And so if it stops being a Christian country, I mean, Flynn ultimately is correct here. If it stops being a Christian country, then therefore it stops being a Western country. And if it stops being a Western country, it's not America anymore. You can still call it that, but it's not. It's like your poodle died, and his name was Fifi, and your poodle died, or no, your poodle was killed by a junkyard Rottweiler. And so you just decide to adopt the junkyard Rottweiler and start calling it Fifi. It's not the same thing at all. It's a very different animal with very different outcomes. You'll probably have to visit a doctor for prosthetics after adopting that one. Quote, if we are going to have one nation under God, which we must, we have to have one religion, Flynn said. Quote, one nation under God and one religion under God, right? All of us working together, close quote. At the South Carolina rally, Flynn proclaimed that the U.S. has a biblical destiny and posited that the U.S. was built on a set of, oh God, Jesus. He said it was, the United States was built on, quote, a set of Judeo-Christian principles. No, it was built on Christian principles, which is a religion informed by the biospirit of Western kind, where Westmen, men, women, and children are practicing Christianity. There's no Judeo about it. It's just Christian, and that makes it glorious. That is so irritating to me. Really? When did this Judeo get tacked onto the front of Christian? When did Christian get demoted to Judeo? When did Christian become the ass end of Judeo? Was that a founding fathers? Were they saying that about this country? Flynn's views alarmed Taylor because if they were, then it's time to hack that bit out and make some corrections. Flynn's views alarm. So this is what I'm talking about, how this Christian nationalism, it recurs. And it always peters out because of definitions, because of the different sectarianizing of the effort. It always gets pulled in many different ways. And while it's at war with itself, trying to decide what exactly is Christianity, what exactly is nationalism, as it intersects with Christianity, that entire time the anti-whites are attacking it, Democrats in the U.S. from the outside and undermining it, gelding it even more than what people like this would have it gelded. The Reawaken not only just taking the testicles off, like taking the whole back end of the thing off. The Reawaken tour was launched by a conservative Oklahoma talk show host and entrepreneur named Clay Clark in tandem with Flynn. See, here's the thing. You're going to need a very powerful personality, somebody who has been in physically in fights and therefore is able to defend himself, who's going to have to get into the ring with these mobsters, these Democrat mobsters. That's what you need. You're not gonna be able to have a businessman that as much as Trump offered and as brilliant as he is. It's not going to be able to just be a businessman. It's going to have to be somebody who is highly intelligent and who has also had to fight with their fists, because that engenders the confidence of being able to take on Democrat mobsters at their level. Who briefly served as Trump's first national security advisor. Flynn pleaded guilty twice to lying to the FBI about contacts he had with Russia's ambassador before Trump took office. But in late 2020, Trump pardoned him. Once again, the FBI is one of the most criminal, policing agencies on planet Earth. Do not talk to these people ever. Talk through an attorney and be friendly, through your attorney. But anything you say to them will put you in jail for 2 decades if you're not a good anti-white Democrat like they would want you to be. The Trump loyalist and multi-millionaire Patrick Byrne, former CEO of Overstock, told The Guardian last year the American Project, an advocacy group he founded that boasts Flynn as a special advisor and spokesman, put up, quote, tens of thousands of dollars to help him launch the rallies in 2021, and that he has attended some himself. We're at the bottom of the hour. We have 30 minutes left. I'll take a quick look to see if there's anything. $20 financial gift. Let's get 07s and some raucous emojis for Mrs. Jess Horst. God bless you, sweet sister. Thank you for being here. And she writes with that $20 financial gift, hail, Western kind, keep it Promethean. Amen, sister. 3 white heart emojis coming from that dear lady. And her 9 children. 9. How many have you made? All those people who like to say it's all about just making the children. Don't those flags look glorious on the TVs behind me? Okay, the other platforms are blank, so we will keep rolling here with the story. And we'll be getting over to the story of white terrorists stopped from getting to homosexual parade to start violent riot. By the way, I'm told that this homosexual event in Coeur d'Alene was actually the permits were pulled, and it was built, the whole event, by a satanic church. Is that true? Only in Democrat-run anti-white America. Flynn's central role at the Reawaken events was cited in a hard-hitting April op-ed in the Times of San Diego by the Reverend Melinda Dodge. Tragically, quote, tragically, late last month, proclaimed church leaders and religious zealots. Okay, so if you're not anti-white, you become a zealot. Descended upon San Diego County and twisted this scripture truth for specific political purposes. In speaking to thousands of vulnerable attendees, this group they spew. Don't you know, if you are a Democrat, well, then you just have this melodious voice that wafts over the crowd and causes daisies to spring to your presence. But if you are not a Democrat and you're saying something that contradicts their anti-whiteism that motivates them, then you're spewing. You're just a spewer. You got it? Stop spewing so much. Twisted the scriptural truth and speaking to thousands of vulnerable attendees. No, they're vulnerable when you get to them, and the anti-whites are not able to interpret it for you and tell you what it means. This group spewed dangerous falsehoods after falsehood about COVID-19 and the 2020 election. Can't we just have our own opinions? Can't we just speak our minds? Can't we just have the right to speak and the right to hear, the First Amendment in the United States? Can't we just have that? What should we do with people who want to censor us into oblivion? And not too long now, about 15 minutes or so, I am going to share with you what I would do if I were in office to all of these tech companies who practice censorship. Why? Because they're run by Democrats who are motivated by the ideology of anti-whiteism. Quote, the event at a church in San Marco was the latest stop on disgraced retired General Michael Flynn's Reawaken America tour, a nationwide series of megachurch engagements featuring a who's who of far-right religious extremists, Trump aides, QAnon conspiracy theorists. Again, remember with the QAnon, it's just sit tight, don't do anything. Don't do anything, but you can play around with these riddles, but don't do anything. Let's see, and other reckless figures. These people are just, the whole thing is fiction. These so-called reporters are just They are de jure fiction authors. At every stop along the way, the Christian Nationalist Tour has left in its wake a trail of dangerous disinformation that leads to bigotry, hate, and its most extreme violence. They can burn. These Democrat anti-white bastards can break their anti-white terror shock troops out into the streets of hundreds of cities in the United States. Do not look to these people ever. Stop doing this. So many good conservative people, good Republican voters, they continue to look to anti-whites in the news and entertainment media for permission to hold the views that they should hold. You don't need their permission. You don't need their validation. You don't need their approval. In fact, if they are giving you those things, you are wrong. Do you understand that? And if your leaders, whether it's Christian nationalism or Republican officials or conservative thinkers, thought leaders, whatever it may be, if they are directing you, if they are vectoring you away that will get you some measure of approval from these Democrats motivated by anti-whiteism in the news and entertainment media, then they are misleaders. They are misrulers, and you need to head another direction as fast as you can. Dodge added that a, quote, staple of the tours has been Pastor Greg Locke, quote, who has made a name for himself by peddling QAnon conspiracy theories from his pulpit. You know, I'm getting a little concerned about this. I mean, you have this, how much money has this cost for this tour to go across the United States to reach good, patriotic, nationalistic, Christian, good atheists, good, etc., good people, to reach all these good people and then tell them to pray to God to do this for us, that God will raise up an army for us, and to get back into the QAnon stuff. Do nothing except try to figure out the riddles and get excited because it's so fun. I'm getting a little concerned about this. It's almost like this is leading opposition down another dead-end alley. I hope I'm wrong. Maybe Flynn should reach out to me and have me on the tour, have me speak on the tour. That would clear things up rapidly about whether or not it was legit. Let somebody a whole lot more like Andrew Jackson step up at the lectern. That'll say a lot about who you are, Flynn. Looking ahead to the fall elections, which wonderfully are going to go against the Democrats, Taylor and Sojourners worries that the rhetoric of the Reawaken events threatens voting right. Oh, you pieces of shit. You total filth. Threatens your voting rights. It's not threatened. It never ends. You see, their lies never end. Talk about conspiracy theories. No evidence whatsoever. No way to produce a null hypothesis because it's totally, every claim is unfalsifiable. You can't falsify their claims because they're invisible. They're just in the ether. They're just intangible. This is what the Democrats give you, motivated by their hateful anti-whiteism. Haven't you had enough yet? And haven't you had enough of these mealy-mouthed conservative thought leaders and Republican elected officials who really are supposed to be our servants? Haven't you had enough of them yet? But do you need more squiggly spined losers up at the lectern? We're really getting to the point where there's going to be nothing left to defend. You're going to have Andrew Jackson or nothing at all. And I'm afraid if a lot of ladies out there, you get worried about that. Oh, I don't know. And you get out your hankies and your smelling sauce and get over by your fainting settee, then it's just going to have to be that way, cupcake. Taylor said he was, quote, particularly alarmed by the ways this tour is promulgating and providing religious cover to the big lie. Oh, the big lie. If they only knew that the last election was stolen. This big lie is eroding trust in elections, and these I'm sorry, folks. These are total demon pieces of shit. For 4 years while Donald Trump was in office, every single day, from official organs in the news and entertainment industry, from leading Democrat officials, from people in the bureaucracy at the very top, every single day in this country, they were saying that Donald Trump had colluded with Russia and stolen the election. Every day, these elected officials, these high-ranking individuals in the Democrat Party, in the federal government of the United States, in the state governments across the United States, every day they said, Donald Trump's not my president. He stole this election with the aid of Russia and Putin. Every day. But of course, that was not threatening democracy to do that. That was not threatening. Hiding Biden, Joe in a coma in the basement of his house, getting more votes than anyone ever, and a percentage-wise also, I think, and also more votes of non-white, particularly blacks, than Barack Obama in places that Joe needed them. That can't be questioned. People can't look into that because that questions the very legitimacy of governance. So you are not being anti-white enough and therefore are going to go to jail forever. That is the Democrat refrain. Folks, if you are going to go to war, metaphorical war against the Democrats, you cannot continue to support mealy-mouthed, milquetoast, squiggly-spined losers. Even if what they're telling you is easy, like just pray to God. And I can tell you right now, God is thinking, get up off your knees and get to work, dummy. And even if they are giving you these cool little cryptic riddles to look over and just wait for something to happen. All right, we're going to jump over here. I want to talk about this. I talked about this on Going Free, and I'm not going to go over it ad nauseum. This horse has already been beaten to death. I said yesterday that I salute the bravery of these guys. I think that their decisions, this decision to be an advocate and to engage in advocacy this way is in error. And I have articulated my reasoning behind that. I understand that I believe there's far more effective things that they can do that are not without risk. It's still risky and far more effective. And I articulated that yesterday. But I talked also about the harm to the individual lives of these people, of these young men getting out into the streets. They wanted to do something. I don't know how far their knowledge goes about whether or not such activities are effective or about the long-term consequences for them. But somebody should speak up for them. And that's what I have tried to do. And so you have these guys, 31 in Coeur d'Alene from Patriot Front, who were arrested on their way to this, as far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, did a satanic church actually set up this homosexual event in Coeur d'Alene? So they were on their way to have I assume, a counter protest. I don't know really what was in their hearts or what the plans were. I assume they were just going to walk by with their flags and their shields and all of this sort of business. But there is there's this idea of show of force, and I get it. I get that that's fun for a lot of young guys. And so it's just like, that's fun. I want to go out there and have this show of force and be brave. And even though you can be brave and do effective things in IRL, out in the public, but this carrying a shield and all, and then there's this show of force when really it's just a show of farce. And in the end, it doesn't do anything good for us, in my opinion. If you don't believe that that's the case, you believe it can do some good, then just show me. Just show me. Don't slander me. Don't misrepresent me like a little cur. Just show me that it does good. All right. But what am I looking at right now? I'm not going to show you what I'm looking at because it is the mugshots of every single one of these young men who are on the internet forever, proud looking, healthy. These men, when I saw this come out today, look at these guys. What is going to happen for them now? So once again, I will just ask the leadership to reconsider such marches and to engage in something that is far less risk, unnecessary risk, I should say, for the participants, and at the same time, infinitely more effective for the purpose of bringing an end to things like the Satanists taking over Coeur d'Alene or whatever is going on over there. It says here on hundreds of TV channels, 31 white nationalists. Oh, but on that, associated with their pictures in the news report, showing all of the faces of these young men, white terrorists stopped from getting to Pride Parade to start violent riot. Now, is that effective for white well-being? Is that effective for our people? Is that effective for America? It's not their fault. The anti-whites are going to say stuff like that. But you don't have to put yourself in a position to give them a story to say things like that. Over on this television network, 31 white nationalists arrested in Idaho. Police say group looked like a little army equipped with riot gear. Police in a small Idaho city arrested 31 people allegedly affiliated with a white nationalist group near a pride parade. Homosexual, bisexual, omnisexual, just anything but not heterosexual, authorities announced on Saturday. People associated with the group Patriot Front allegedly had shield, shin guards, and other riot gear with them, including at least one smoke grenade. Coeur d'Alene, Idaho Police Chief Lee White said they were charged with conspiracy to commit riot. And they're not saying here, but that is a misdemeanor. They're probably not saying here because they want you to believe it's something horrific. But there is the possibility, of course, and indeed the entire likelihood that Coeur d'Alene will be forced to share all of this information with the feds. And if it isn't above board, I'm sure it'll be below. The individuals were arrested after a citizen called police to alert them that at least 20 men were seen getting out of a U-Haul van wearing masks and carrying shields, White said. Among those arrested was the founder of Patriot Front, Thomas Rousseau. Suspects are from Alabama, Arkansas, Colorado, Idaho, Illinois, Michigan, Oregon, South Dakota, Texas, Utah, Washington, and Wyoming, all heroic states. So not surprising that even if misguided, heroes came from those states, according to the information provided to the jail. It is clear to us, based on the gear that the individuals had with them, the stuff they had in their possession and in the U-Haul with them, along with paperwork that was seized from them, that they came to riot downtown, said Chief White, who is probably as anti-white as they come. So we are down to 11 and a half minutes, and I will take a look at all of the other financial gifts, if there are any. A big hello to everybody on D Live, the few that are there, and a hello to the few that are there over on Odyssey. And I'll spin around here. We will refresh and see if we have anything over on Cash App. The great No Wine Guilt Clips is over there, ladies and gentlemen. God bless you, brother. $10 financial gift. He says, Kuna for 2024, 2028, 2032, 2036, and on into the future. God bless you, man. That is fantastic. Could you imagine what we would do in office? Could you imagine? Run for office, where we can win, get into office, and then absolutely rock the world. Wouldn't that be amazing? All right, let me turn around here. We have Sanachu has financially gifted twice. $5, the first one. Thank you so much, Sanachu. Says also, let's read the one below that. $5 financial gift. At 1 hour 52 minutes in your last stream, you made a remark that I disagree with on an epistemological basis. Okay. I know you never intend to be insulting toward anyone's beliefs, as the stream proves. That's right. If I may suggest, Romans 12:2 would be something you agree with. Well, I'll look into that. Thank you, Sanachu. And he also follows it up with another $5 financial gift, and God bless you for that, good brother. He says, also, I'm really enjoying these shorter streams. Definitely something nice to unwind to after a day of work. Well, I appreciate you. Thank you for the feedback. And that's one of the things that I would like to get from folks today in our closing minutes together. If you have any questions or comments you want to make to me, you can financially gift them. They'll absolutely get read then. But otherwise, you can just tag me and I will keep an eye out. Tag me as No White Guilt. I will keep an eye out. We have just came in a $5 financial gift from Mac and Liberty. Hello to you. And thank you so much for that financial gift. Writing here, thank you for all that you do. Well, you are most welcome. And thank you very much for that appreciation. I deeply, it means a lot to me. It's really a deep value to me. So thank you so much. So what would Jason do in office, faced with these tech companies and all their censorship, and nobody else has been able to solve this problem, have they? Well, what I would do in office is I would put forward a bill that would be a new tax that would be applied, a new levy applied to every single owner and employee of any company found to be a part of the new social square, the new public square of our age and moving forward, because it is no longer just the downtown of our towns where the two biggest roads cross. It is now on the internet superhighway. And so companies like Twitter, for example, Facebook, etc., everyone knows, even though they won't admit, and maybe CNN will say that it's not the case. But I think that I'll just say, in my opinion, to be perfectly accurate, in my opinion, and I opinionate on all of my streams. I also use comedy, so don't be a jackass. But in my opinion, these platforms heavily censor. They heavily censor the shit out of me, in my opinion. They heavily censor everyone who is not anti-white enough. If you're not a Democrat, maybe you got a big D, and usually that's what Democrats are known for, is their big Ds. And and there's a reason for that. You're not that. You're not rabidly anti-white. You're not like this. What is this? Piker? What's that guy's name? Hassan Piker. You're not him, and you're not slandering, or you're not one of these other anti-whites and slandering the hell out of Western civilization and Western kind. If you're not one of them, then you have the legs cut out from underneath of you. They don't do it on a 100% basis, the exact same treatment for every single person and group that is not anti-white or not anti-white enough, because then it would be too obvious. They work like the Stasi worked. And so they have like rotating algorithms. They'll let you grow a little bit, and then they'll rein it in, and they'll delete a bunch. The shadow banning is ruthless, and it is psychological warfare on the individual, just as the Stasi exercised psychological warfare on the individuals who resisted the government there. And it is meant to not only break the resistance to what these Democrats who are motivated by anti-whiteism, what they would like to do, but it's also meant to break your spirit, to break your psyche. And so, knowing that, or having the opinion that this is happening, what I would do is I would submit a bill, and if made into law, every owner and every employee, I don't care if you just mop the floor. I don't care if you're a contractor and you're just going to show up and drop some bricks off and you don't have anything else to do with Facebook but that. You will be levied by the IRS a special censorial tax for all people participating in the censors network, in the censors platform. And then we'll see if they want to continue, if all of the employees want to pay a heavy tax to make amends to America, to make up to the rest of us for this censorship, for this preventing us from speaking, preventing us from hearing the voices of others. If they want to make this up to us in heavy fines by way of taxes, then let them go ahead and be the private company they want to be. Let them pay the heavy taxes, and we'll use the heavy taxes in the government to start competing companies against these censorial ones. Companies that are deemed to be part of the public square can sidestep the taxation by making their entire code available for everyone to see. The algorithms, absolutely transparent, for open source for everyone to see, so that we can know with our own two eyes that they are desirous of being a bastion of free speech, a place where ideas can come together and the best ideas will win out, not the most rabidly anti-white bastard Democrat ideas winning out at the end of the day. This is one of the things that I would do if in office, much more like Andrew Jackson, I would think, than the mealy-mouthed losers that we have representing those who resist in the slightest the anti-white march to the destruction of the United States and all of Western civilization. I have some announcements. This show, Jason Goes Political, is probably going to remain at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesdays, but I may also go live with this show at other times of the week and other times of the day. It just depends. We are still in the first 10-show exploratory run to find out if people think it's interesting, to get feedback from folks, to solicit, I guess, feedback as well. What kind of things do you think we should do? Should I talk to people up on these TVs behind me? What else would you like to see us cover? That sort of thing. I want to ask you all, as I was just saying, for any ideas you might have for the program, including dates and times, because this is pretty firm, but it's not solid for all time. And we'll see if there is interest in Jason Goes Political, then I'll stick with it beyond the 10 episodes that we planned. If there is quite a bit of interest, then we will use or potentially use the show as a launching pad for a run for political office. And if I were to do that run for political office, I would find somewhere that my odds of winning would be good. So I wouldn't go out there to compete with just snowball's chance in hell. I would go out there to win, and then once in office, depending upon the office, I would behave very differently from what people are accustomed to. I would behave as a statesman, as a hero for America, for Western kind, and therefore everybody who's in America. I don't know. I mean, maybe when they have their private little in-session meetings, I'll go in there wearing a GoPro, live streaming right to this channel and all the other ones I'm on. Who knows? It could be a lot of fun. But that is out ahead of us. And until then, we got to see if there's enough interest in what you all end up thinking about it. We're coming to the end of today's show, but I'll take another quick look. Looks like we're blank on Entropy, and also blank over there on Odyssey. And I see Spartans over there on DLive. Hello to you, and great to see you. Quick look at Cash App, and then I'll run through YouTube, say hello to the champions, answer any questions, and then we're going to roll, ladies and gentlemen. Please give a prayer and some energy for Carlisle. She's not feeling all that well. She probably has not told anybody, and I don't know if I'm allowed to tell you, so pretend like you don't know, even if you send out a prayer, some positive energy. Elaine is here. Great to see you. She says, hi, Jason and fam. Hello to all of you. And I'm just looking through right now for folks who have tagged me. Ultra Testosterone says, rhinos are cowards. Yeah, they absolutely are. And we have to be vigilant when it comes to all Republicans that they're not behaving as anti-whites. General Friend claims women are the future of the Republican Party, Jason, says Elaine. Really? Wow. I wonder what vet gelded him. Archangel says, Christianity has never been a uniting force in the West. Westman, this is an opinion about Christianity that is unfavorable to Christianity. Westmen have been forced to murder each other by the millions in countless wars, even after we adopted Christianity. Ultra Testosterone says, I don't get how we get so many cowards. Yeah, it's they get pushed right to the top, don't they? Did you see how many Republican senators are trying to ban guns now? Yet more and more, a disgusting spectacle, which is why we need an Andrew Jackson up there at the federal level to point out what these folks are really all about, to get on with you live streaming and let you know who's the problem, so that information can be communicated to their electorate and someone else can take their seat. That's the only way it's going to happen. That is the only way it's going to happen. Great to see everybody. Anglo-Saxon and the Bastard of America and Sitting Bull, Lemon and Lime. Mac and Liberty says thank you to No White Gill Clips, and thank you to Mac and Liberty for the financial gift. The great Yiz the Eunuch is with us. Great to see you. Celtic Britain is here. If I were in office, I want you to leave this in the live, in the thread under this video, and we're going to be going in just a moment. If I were in office tomorrow, what would you be most excited to see? At least me try. Make it lawful. Don't suggest anything criminal. Don't, just something legal, something exciting you would like to see me try. Because if I were in office, I would absolutely be live streaming and asking folks, what would you like to see next? And we would go with the best idea. And if nobody gave me the best idea, then I would come up with it. Mac and Liberty says, I think is a great time for people versed in how the anti-whites work to run for office or just get involved locally. I have noticed even in my own life, people are waking up. They are indeed. Yes says, great stream again, Jason. This is a great stream series so far, and I hope you keep doing it, Kip. Well, Kip to you, young lady. Thank you for that. Fernol, the great Fernol, who built this wonderful studio for us, says, looking good, brother. Well, thank you. We're going to stay on top of it and make up any errors there might be so that it remains perfect for the folks. No, she was not bitten by Rory by a groundhog, but she could use your positive energy and prayers. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, it was wonderful. It was wonderful once again to be with you all. I will be back. Actually, I won't be on PWR tomorrow, Wednesday, with Mark Collett. I am given the day off because it's one of the crew who doesn't appear with me, and so I am not on PWR tomorrow. But I might do a roll-in after they're finished, or something of that nature. We'll see. Working on a tap, and then of course on Sunday, going free once again. It's a bit early, but I wish you all sweet dreams and good night, America.